Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Batman Arkham Origins New Game Plus walkthrough. So, we're in the toils of triangulating Penguin's location, and we're faced with a fight near this throne room. And once again, fighting is something that's inherently personal. You're all going to fight your own way. People will prioritise counters, people will prioritise evading. Some people will prioritise getting punched in the face, like I'm showing you right here. But I don't know about y'all, but when I'm playing the combat system in these games, I find it's at its hardest when you're being interrupted. Like, as soon as you lose your streak, you might as well restart sometimes, because you never seem to get the flow back. It's a very flow-based thing, and it's very strange like that. I'm not too sure why it works. One of the first upgrades I got was the one you just saw then. It's the Bat Stun. But on this game, there seems to be so many enemies thrown at you all the time that it doesn't stun quite as effectively as it used to. So it's not really as useful as it used to be. Because one of the strategies I would do when I was ever in a tough room is what you're seeing right now. I would prioritise getting 5 hits so I can do a takedown move, or 8 hits depending on your upgrades. And then I would just do the bats to stun people and then beat up the people that weren't stunned. And I would just continue to loop that, just building combos, doing the bat stun, building combos, doing the bat stun, and it was a very safe strategy of getting through the game. They've tweaked the combat on this game, so it doesn't seem to work quite as well as it did. But there is a quick transition from between the cutscene after that interrogation and to the point we're on right now. And this is going to be us flying to deactivate some jamming signals. So I'm going to talk on a little tangent here, folks, about how I treat games. Especially new games. So a lot of the comments on the first video of this guide are filled with incredulity at the fact that I got a video up so quickly. People are confused at how I've actually beaten the game in such a short amount of time when it's only been out a day. And a lot of these people are either not too media savvy or they're not really thinking about it and they just ask the question innocently, because there's an inherent ignorance that comes with that kind of perspective. One of them is being a cunt, and I'm going to address him later. But there are already full walkthroughs of this game up on YouTube, guys. They've been up for days. They've been up for longer than that. Yeah, I don't think anybody's questioning them on exactly how they got the game up so quickly, because they're not looking at it from that perspective of the game's already been out a day. This game's been out ages if you know how to get a copy, guys. There are people that have been playing this for weeks. There are review copies, there are builds that the developers will give people. There's a whole host of ways to get your hand on a game. I just got lucky in the fact that I got it a day early, and that sometimes happens when you do any kind of mail service. So instead of me getting it on Friday, I got it on Thursday. And I played the game on Thursday. I played it a little bit sporadically because I had some stuff to do. And I beat it that night. And the first thing I do when I beat a game is I try and find the intro music for it, what I'm going to use for the guide. So on this one it was simple because it was the very first video. And then once that's done, I could start recording. But in the case of this game, it was quite late at night when I finished it, so I didn't start immediately. And a lot of the times I normally do. I'll go immediately into my second run on a game. But when this game was concerned, it's quite late, so I left it until the day after. My second day of playing the game, I blasted through it in about 5 hours, maybe less. Because I knew exactly what I was doing, I was skipping everything, and I wasn't dying, which is useful, especially when you're trying to make a walkthrough like this, because anybody who's been on YouTube for any amount of time knows that if you can get things up quickly, you stand a better chance of that thing being, whatever you're putting up being seen, which is the ambition of every YouTube creator. And I'm now sitting on a finished guide that I'm talking through right now. I'm going to spend the rest of today talking through it, and then I'm going to get it up and upload it to people, and there you go. That's how this game has been treated. And some people might think, well, you're only doing that because you want to put it up on YouTube and make money, or you are only doing this because you want to, to make videos from it, or you only played the game a certain way so that you could do it in the way that you have. Well, let's go back a little bit here, folks. Before YouTube, before anything, the way I have played games has always been inherently personal. Everybody plays games their own way, and for anybody to profess that they play games a different way to them and thus are negative or bad because of this is ridiculous. It just doesn't work that way. Everybody plays a different way. I know people who play games for 5 to 10 minutes. I know people who play games like 15 hours a day. You know, there's a middle ground with it. Everybody plays it to a different rhythm is probably the best way to put it. And when I was younger, to the day right now, I play the games the exact same way I've always played them. When I get a new game, I play it until I beat it. I don't mess with the multiplayer, I don't mess with any of the other nonsense, I don't play my other games, I play that game until I beat it. Sometimes I'll beat it in the same day that I buy it. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. That's called playing what you own. That's called doing what you love. You know, that is how I play games. And I think it's hilarious that I would get the comment that I'm about to address primarily focused on things like that, and then insult me for it because it's something different to how he believes games should be played, or it's something different to his mentality, thus it's wrong, and here is why, and here's a bunch of insults that have got no basis on anything at all, and it doesn't make any sense to me at all, really. And I have said I've made a conscious effort not to point out the negatives, and I think after this one I'm probably not going to point out another one because there's no real point. These people are idiots and they're selfish, and I've just got no time for that at all. I've got no time for stupidity. But essentially, the comment said that I literally must have been playing this game for 15 to 18 hours to have beaten it with how long it's been out. So immediately notice how this person is A, retarded, because they can't even contemplate that I might have got the game early, and B, anybody who takes 15 to 18 hours to beat this game on their first playthrough must have been doing something more important at the time, you know, unless you're doing all the side quests and things. I'm talking from A to B to beat the game. None of the side quests, none of the side stuff, just playing to beat the game. A pretty simple premise, a pretty simple goal. Because it doesn't take that long. Like, who spends 18 hours playing games a day? 18 hours is longer than most people are awake. Like, how fucking stupid can people be? 18 hours a day playing games. Where does that exactly leave time for eating? For doing other things? Like, nobody can sit and play games for that amount of time. It would become torturous. Like, the only times you can do that is when you set yourself up to do that. And I've done sessions of that length, and they're ridiculous, and they're arduous, but they're also fun because there's a fun kind of masochism with them. Like, it's such a redundant statement, and it's strange because gamers are an ostracized community anyway, and the fact that people inside it like to ostracize it even further just proves that these people are fucking poisonous, and this is a further example of him. And if you want to see who this asshole is, he's in the comments on the first video of this guide. You know, and he says he doesn't care, so that's the reason why I'm mentioning him, because when somebody says they don't care, that's when I care. But he then goes on to say how it's disgusting that I've played it so constantly and that I haven't enjoyed it. So if you want to annoy me, folks, here's one way to do it. Insulting me? Nah, doesn't bother me. I've been insulted my entire life. I've been a bully when I was younger. I've been in several circumstances where confrontation were mandatory, and I've got really good at it. So I've got thick skin because of it. Words don't bother me. Punches don't bother me. I mean, if you hit me good, you'll probably bother me then. But words? Pfft, come on, guys. Words are fucking nothing. Words from strangers? Come on, folks. It takes more than that bullshit to cut me. Couldn't care less. But if you presume to say that you know what is best for me or how I function best, or you then go on to be so pretentious as to speak for me, that annoys me because A, it's fundamentally false, because how the hell can anybody speak for anybody else, and B, it's just douchey. It's just completely douchey. So I didn't enjoy playing this game or recording this guide because of the way that I played it. Are you fucking high? Are you high? It's my phone. It's my beautiful girlfriend, which I wouldn't have if I played games like you mentioned. Why would I do it if I didn't enjoy it? Like, all the logical people here are probably sighing right now because I'm going through this tirade of pointing out this person's stupidity. And I understand why they're sighing, because anybody with a brain will understand that this is my hobby and I'm trying to make it my career. So I'm doing it at a professional rate. Nobody asks you, why did you go to work for 8 hours? No one says that. Why did you stand around in Tesco for 8 hours? That's fucking sad. Of course it's sad, but they're being paid. They're being paid and it's their job, so you do your job. You don't ask questions, you don't answer, you just do it. You know, other times you're in a more flexible position to do something better, but for the most, people just do it, and we don't mock them for it. And it's the exact same concept here. I approach this guide like I approach every guide. I look at it like I am making something for a client. I am a freelance designer, for lack of a better word, designing walkthroughs, and I'm doing it up to spec as quickly as I can to get it out there to an audience. And I take grand pride in that, and not only that, but I enjoy it. So for you to go and say to try and attempt to speak for me in your 100% ignorance and solipsism, dude, there is something wrong with you, bro, and you need help. You really do need help. It's that simple. And then when you go on to insult me in the rest of the comment, that doesn't mean anything. That's just white noise. You can call me an idiot who's obsessed with games, which you might want to look into what the medical definition of obsession is to know that that's not really the case. And as far as the comment saying that I think I'm good at Dark Souls, I'm just this, obsessed gamer idiot thing. How can I think I'm good at Dark Souls when there is video proof that I am? I try to be as humble as I can in every video I make. I try to make it extremely clear that anybody can do what I'm doing in the video. But my Dark Souls Soul Level 1 restricted run, no damage, not everybody can do that. And I know not everybody can do that. And do you know why? Because YouTube would be full of it. YouTube is full of people playing Dark Souls badly. YouTube has quite a lot of people playing Dark Souls good. There is one full playthrough of a no damage run of that game. So to even go as far as to say that I think I'm good at Dark Souls is just further enhancing the height of your delusion. And I've spent far too long addressing this person. But it's okay, guys, because the guy said block me. I don't care. So we'll never hear from that person again. And that makes me really happy, because if somebody can be that disillusioned and insulting to someone they have never met, they are not a person worth interacting with, folks. It is so much easier to do something you enjoy than to try and poison other people's enjoyment. And that's where this comes from, folks. I don't mind that he doesn't like what I do. I don't mind when people disagree. But when you try and ruin it for other people, that's when I step in, because it's not right. And this channel's not built on idiots. This channel's not built for arseholes. It's built for people who like and love games and are not going to insult each other for loving games. So, he was a heretic in a holy land, and now I've just crucified him like a bitch. But this sequence here, all we need to do is get rid of all these fellas and then get into the boat. I'm going to be using the back claw. It doesn't really work so well on this game, and I do get spotted then. There is the grenade icon. I'm not too sure if that's new to the game or what, but there is a bug involved with it. I came across where the grenade icon was on my screen for an entire level. I have no idea what it was doing. It was just kind of sat there watching me, chilling out. But this is one of the Predator sequences, and you can do it literally any way you want. You can sneak up to them and take them down. You can pull them off of ledges. You can swoop down. You can have fun with it. Use the grates, all that kind of stuff. I don't recommend doing what I just did then. I knew there was a guy over there. I wish this worked, though. You notice how I do the misdirection? I come down here, try and open the door, but you can't open the door when you're in combat, which seems a little strange. But I understand it. It's a gameplay balance. So I climb back up onto the mast. Because for the majority of encounters in this game, height advantage is the only advantage. When you go lower, you have a much easier time of being spotted. But once we get the weapon we're going to get off the boss in this mission, or in this level I should say, it's going to make all these Predator encounters extremely easy, because it's such a troll tool and it's really fun as well. It's one of the most fun aspects of the game. It can be confusing and it can also fail you though, so you want to be careful. See, that's annoying. Because there's a very fine line between pulling people off a ledge and knocking them out, or having them land on their feet and completely messing up, which is what happened then, because it wasn't high enough. But luckily enough, this guy comes running around, so I just flank around the tank. I can see his buddy's making his way as well, so they're both going to be walking onto the catwalk. And the cool thing is here, if I can pull him off the catwalk, there is no way he's not going to face plant, which is good to know. But as always, detective vision is the most powerful aspect of this game. It really is. It's profoundly powerful, and a lot of the times I ignore it, not necessarily to make the game harder, just because I like to see things. I like to be the person spotting things rather than have the game spot everything for me. It's kind of similar with the fists. Later on in the game, you're going to get some electrocution gloves, and they're very, very powerful. And I don't use them as often as I should, and I'm going to mention in those videos why I'm not doing it, because I wanted to just play the game like I know, because the one thing that the gloves do, aside from being extremely powerful, but they break the flow of the combat, and it really confuses me, so more about that later on. Thank you for watching anyhow, guys. Thank you for putting up with my little rant on just the ignorant trolls that exist on the internet, and you take care now.